A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ground Report with me, Kiora Petse Mashobo. We're coming to you live from our studios in Midrand, Johannesburg. Let's take a look at your headlines at this hour. Reports have emerged that kidnapped South African journalist Shiraaz Mohamed is alive and that plans are underway to get him back home within the next month. National Treasury has responded to the Competition Commission report into price fixing and market allocation by 17 banks, including 3 South African banks, saying that the SA Reserve Bank is a banking supervisor and not a market conduct regulator. Black First, Land First is demanding answers on how private banks in the country colluded and fixed the rand while the SA Reserve Bank was watching. BLF is set to march to the head offices of the Reserve Bank in Johannesburg to submit their memorandum of grievances. And sources tell ANN7 that the ANC will hold a special NEC on Monday to discuss the announcement by the Competition Commission on the collusion by banks. In our leading story, reports are coming in that kidnapped South African journalist Shiraaz Mohamed is alive and could return to South Africa next month. Now, it's been more than a month since Johannesburg-based photojournalist Shiraaz Mohamed disappeared while traveling with aid group Gift of the Givers in Syria. According to the group, Mohamed had been kidnapped on January 10th on his way to the Turkish border. According to reports, the NGO Truth Collective SA has obtained photos and videos of Mohamed as proof of life. The NGO Truth Collective SA tried to broker Mohamed's deal. The NGO is being supported by the Deputy International Relations Minister and the Syrian government. Plans are underway to get him back home within the next month. In the media report, NGO Truth Collective has said, and I quote, "Shiraaz is alive. We've got a video and a picture of him from the rebel side to ensure he's alive. I never went to the rebel side. I went through the Syrian government who are supporting his issue because of the agreed relationship with South Africa. The rebels have requested 4 high criminal terrorists to be arrested by the Syrian government and they sent the names in exchange for Shiraaz's release. The official of Syria informed me that they've got the guys and they are willing to make the swap under the Syrian Red Cross." Well, the director of Truth Collective South Africa, Bakar Al-Maharme, joins us in studio. A very good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to be on your studio and brief our citizen about what exactly happened in the Syrian side.
Now, just getting to that, can you indeed confirm that Shiraaz is alive?
Shiraaz is alive, perfectly well, and we have I'm confirming he is alive, and we have some video and photo of him to make sure for the request of the deal is on the timing of the swap between us and the rebels.
And can you tell us about the pictures and the videos, what content is in the videos and pictures?
We requested when we was in Damascus, after starting to started the negotiation for Shiraaz, we request to find out before we go ahead for what they need from the Syrian government, we need to ensure he is alive. And 2 days later, they provide for us some of video and picture for him. He is alive. And they're requesting 4 high criminal guys in the Syrian prison by the government side. They wanted those guys. So we appeal to the Syrian government to assist to ensure our citizen life to be back home safely. And I was surprised basically when the Syrian accept to make this deal for the great relationship with South Africa.
Now, Bakar, let's just take a step back. How did you initiate the engagement with these rebels? How did you know where they were? How did you get to contact them and start the process of brokering the release?
Well, we are Truth Collective South Africa, and we have done civilly humanitarian things for the Syrian people, and we have a great relationship with Syria through our government as well. So when we heard about Shiraaz being captured or Shiraaz being held, we started to make our request, our movement for our relationship with the Syrian and Syrian government to find out if they can assist us in this matter, which was actually very not a good state because he went illegally in the country, which is Syria got a legitimate government, got embassy, our ambassador in Damascus, been for the last 8 years in Damascus. So that's why we try to speak to the government of Syria. They are the only people we can deal with because they are the legitimate government of the Syrian people. Mm-hmm. So we start to request by our relationship with the Syrian, and with the request we got some feedback. We can find out where he is and how he is, because there is a mediator between the Syrian government and the rebels as well. Mm-hmm. That's why there's a lot of successful of the Syrian armies where they have removed some of the rebels to Idlib areas. And it was through the mediator as well. So let's put it this way, the Syrian concern about our citizen, concern about our relationship with the Syrian, mm-hmm. and our government is working very, very closely into this matter, especially our Minister of Fikir. She's concerned about our citizen to stay alive. And that is why we started proceed for our great relationship with the Syrian people.
Now, did Truth Collective SA have to travel to Syria to speak with the negotiators that negotiate with the rebels?
Yes, I have spoken to the ambassador of Syria in South Africa, in Pretoria, and we have a great understanding between our organization and the Syrian through our government. Mm-hmm. And I have traveled on the 20th to Damascus personally, and I met some of the officials in Syria, some of the government of Syria, and they start to proceed on this matter. The very next day I arrived, we start process to find out firstly where is Shiraaz, mm-hmm. Who is held in Shiraaz, where is he based, and all these things. So 4 days later, traveling between Damascus and Aleppo to get this information, we get held with, there is a mediator, like I said earlier on, yes. Where he come back and he said he's been held by Jabhat al-Nusra in Idlib, in Syria. So we thought in the beginning those people weren't looking for money or looking for some other alternative, but the request wasn't like this. We wasn't right about what they request. The request, they want 4 guys from they being captured by the Syrian government. And they are very high crime guy, which is the Syrian government showed me some video what these guys did in Damascus on the civilian, on buses, mm-hmm. on the central of town of Damascus as well. So they said, okay, we will find out which cells or where they've been held in. If they're held in Damascus, mm-hmm. or they're held in Aleppo, or in Latakia, or Homs. So 2 days later, the government provided to me, yes, we got these guys, and I was surprised. The Syrian was very, very compromising with us. They party with South African government. I was shocked they accept to make this deal to ensure Shiraaz
gets released.
Safety.
So these 4 people that the rebels want to have released in exchange for Shiraaz, are they members of the rebel group?
They've been held by the Syrian government for over 3 years, yes, they are.
All right. And now you've mentioned that you've been working with the Syrian government and the South African government. Is Gift of the Givers involved in any way in the process? Because, I mean, he was traveling with Gift of the Givers when he was kidnapped.
Well, look, I sat with the intelligence of Syria, and we have approached the Syrian being trying to talk for so many years to the South African government about this hospital illegally is on the border of Syria and Turkey. This hospital is completely illegal, because if you want to treat Syrian, there is the Syrian government, and the Syrian won't say no to you to come in and open you, not hospital, turn hospital. And those in regard of Gift of the Giver, I can't speak much about them, because what we heard, Shiraaz equipment, cameras and laptop is being given back to Gift of the Giver. We had so many announcements from Gift of the Giver being given out to the media of South Africa, which was nothing being done. So the only way is to take the legal route, which is with the government of Syria, the legitimate government of Syria. And that's why we haven't dealt with the GOG, because they're not very much cooperating with the Syrian government, because they don't want to believe the Syrian government. So they're doing their own things, and I don't want to go into their details. That's their way of dealing. The terrorists more interested to deal with the Syrian government because they want something. GOG doesn't have something to give them. That's my nonsense on this in particular. That's why we got, if the rebels didn't fight lately amongst each other in Idlib, and Nusra and Ahrar al-Sham and Al-Zanki and all these names you call out there of the rebels, they actually, they're not worried about Shiraz or Gift of the Giver or South Africa. They're fighting about who's going to control Idlib. Now, unfortunately, we was late into Damascus because of Shiraz issue, because we waited so many times from GOG to give us any feedback. It was delayed. If we have to act immediately on the beginning, we would have got Shiraz early on. But unfortunately now we have to wait until the rebels, at least if they come down amongst each other like a couple of hours, the deal will be done, because the Syrian on board with the South African to ensure the release of Shiraz is alive back home.
So Bakar, you said that you actually traveled to Syria on the 20th of January this year, and after brokering these negotiations, how soon can we expect Shiraz back home in South Africa, or how soon can he be released from the rebels before coming back into the country?
I did mention Shiraz, he is safe. They're making sure Shiraz, the rebels will be making sure Shiraz is alive, because they want something. And they don't want to lose the deal. They're more important for them to make the deal, not to anything happen to Shiraz. That's, I can say it in loud and clear. The important things for us is we just waiting for little time to make sure they calm down amongst each other, because it's a hectic going on that side. So Red Cross on board, Syrian government on board, our government is on board, our organization on board, and everybody is ready to make the deal. But we're waiting for something to calm down for us to step in and get Shiraz back. I spoke to one of the intelligence in Damascus yesterday. Personally, I spoke to him over the phone to get some more, if any, new or latest news before I came and I open up the topic. He said to me, everything's going perfect, we're just waiting for he said to me in strong words before end of the month, I don't want to party on that, but definitely we will be very soon back home.
Sooner rather than later?
Yes.
Well,
and unfortunately we was late, because we waited for some information from the other party on the side of Turkey. And there was out different, every time different words in different things, different say. It makes things complicated for Shiraz. If we have gotten step or let our government, day one was concerned about this matter. Day one is following this matter, negotiating with the Syrian government in day one. Our ministry, she was closely working with us, slow in to make sure Shiraz come back home safe, because he's our citizen. Even if he's done illegal things entering the country, we know Shiraz is not part of any of these organizations. We wouldn't be party if Shiraz was one of those guys. Shiraz, he's been fell in a trap. I can say it loud. Doesn't know where he went to or where he getting himself into, and that is the result. And that's why we're fighting for our citizen back home.
And just lastly, you said that Shiraz had traveled into Syria illegally after he's been released by the rebels. Do you think they'll allow him a visa to travel back there for work reasons if he needs to go back there?
Well, look, I can say something to you. South Africa and Syria, they come a long way journey, especially for our Madiba. Syria stood up for South Africa in 1978 in south of Beirut, supporting the cause of the ANC, and we all know about that. And that come from back history, the relationship with Syrian. And Syrian, warmly journalist people, they will, I'm sure they will cross this bridge. If they could cross bridge of releasing this kind of guy for safety of his life, I'm sure they will cross that bridge to let Shiraz come legally to the country and report the truth in the ground. Because unfortunately, the media and the propaganda media, let's put it this way, who took from different media, CNN, Al Jazeera, whatever. There's a lot of country who in volunteering money for these rebels to fight the Syrian regime, to fight the Syrian government, displace so many people in Syria. So today we say the Syrian are the legitimate government for the Syrian people, and they are coming to a better, or like how Syria was. It's almost just a few towns where the rebels control. Syrian doing a great job on the ground, and I hope Syria will be back. Like I said, our relationship is great with Syria, and Syria partying with us in regard of our relationship with them.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for clarifying those things. That was the Director of Truth Collective South Africa, Bakar Al-Maharame, who was joining us in studio, just confirming that photojournalist Shiraaz Mohamed is alive and well in Syria and will be released to come back home, hopefully with